First Contact's price. The Galactic Assembly had rules about everything. Rules about trade routes. Rules about colonization. Rules about technology sharing. But their most sacred rule was about first contact. Every species deserved a chance to join galactic civilization peacefully. Which made what happened to Dr. Sarah Chen all the more unforgivable. Sarah had been Earth's brightest hope in xenobiology. At just 28, she had already revolutionized our understanding of alien cellular structures. When humanity detected the first signs of the Coalition's observation posts at the edge of our solar system, she was the natural choice to lead our first contact team. "We come seeking knowledge and friendship," she had broadcast, her small research vessel approaching the massive Coalition station. The response had been encouraging. The Coalition, an alliance of 7 spacefaring species, seemed genuinely interested in peaceful exchange. For 3 months, Sarah worked tirelessly aboard Coalition Station Prime, sharing Earth's scientific discoveries while learning about alien technologies. Her weekly reports back to Earth were filled with boundless enthusiasm. "They have so much to teach us," she wrote, "and they're fascinated by how we've approached problems differently. We're going to change the galaxy together." She was right about changing the galaxy, but not in the way she had hoped. The Coalition wasn't the unified peaceful entity it appeared to be. The Mrektai, one of its member species, saw humanity's rapid technological progress as a threat. They had watched other, young, species rise before, and their solution was always the same: early intervention. The official report called it an unfortunate laboratory accident. A containment failure in one of the high-energy research labs. Sarah's body was returned to Earth with formal condolences from the Coalition Council. But there was something they didn't know about humans: we're very, very good at pattern recognition. The accident had been too perfect, too contained. The security footage showed inexplicable gaps. And most damning of all, Sarah's personal AI assistant had managed to transmit a final encrypted message moments before her death: "They're lying." Earth's response surprised everyone, including the Coalition. There were no threats, no demands for justice. Instead, humanity simply withdrew. Within a week, all human representatives had been recalled from Coalition space. Trade negotiations ceased. Communication channels went silent. The Coalition's attempts to reach out were met with automated responses about technical difficulties. They're in shock, the Mrektai leadership assured the Coalition Council. They'll recover and return, humbled by the reminder of their place in the galaxy. They mistook humanity's silence for weakness, our withdrawal for fear. They didn't notice the massive resource mobilization happening throughout Earth's solar system. Didn't question why our mining operations on Mars had tripled in scale. Didn't wonder about the enormous energy signatures coming from Jupiter's moons, dismissed as primitive fusion experiments. For 5 years, Earth waited, planned, and built. The Coalition gradually forgot about the quiet species from Sol 3, turning their attention to more pressing matters. But in the depths of the Kuiper Belt, something was taking shape, something that would make the galaxy remember humanity forever. The project was called Nemesis, and it would redefine the very concept of a warship. Not merely a vessel, but a mobile world. A construct so massive it had its own gravity, so advanced it bordered on magic, so powerful it could reduce planets to ash. Every scrap of human ingenuity, every ounce of our industrial might, every secret technological breakthrough we'd hidden from the Coalition, all of it went into Nemesis. And at its heart, displayed in the main command center, was a simple hologram: Dr. Sarah Chen's final smile, captured by a security camera moments before her murder. Below it, a phrase in ancient Latin: "Remember why we build." The Coalition's analysts had correctly identified humanity's pattern recognition abilities. What they failed to understand was our pattern of response when someone kills one of our own. They were about to learn. 5 years to the day after Sarah's death, Nemesis emerged from the Kuiper Belt. As the massive vessel began its journey toward Coalition space, its commander, Admiral Helena Santos, opened a channel to Earth Command. Nemesis is operational. Entering Phase 1. The response was immediate: remember why we build. Humanity's silence was about to end. And the galaxy would never be the same. Project Titan's wake. The first signs that something was wrong came from the Coalition's deep space monitoring stations. Their quantum sensors detected a gravitational anomaly moving through space at speeds that shouldn't have been possible for an object of its mass. The initial reports were dismissed as equipment malfunctions. After all, nothing that large could move that fast. Then the visual confirmations started coming in. Impossible, whispered High Commander Vextal of the Coalition Defense Force as he studied the holographic display. The object was larger than many moons, its surface a perfect black that seemed to drink in light itself. No visible engines, no obvious weapons, just an enormous sphere moving with deliberate purpose toward Coalition space. "Get me the Mrektai ambassador," he ordered. "Now." Ambassador Krell arrived within minutes, his normally pristine scales dulled with stress. "You've seen it? An object that size shouldn't be able to move like that," Vextal said. "The energy requirements alone would be..." He trailed off, remembering something from 5 years ago. "Those energy signatures from Jupiter. The ones your analysts said were primitive fusion experiments." Krell's scales darkened further. "We may have miscalculated." On board Nemesis, Admiral Helena Santos stood in the vessel's central command sphere, a room a kilometer in diameter that served as both the ship's brain and heart. Holographic displays showed the positions of every Coalition vessel within 100 light-years. Another showed the steadily decreasing distance to Coalition Station Prime. "Status report," she commanded. "All systems nominal, Admiral," her XO, Commander James Chen, responded. He was Sarah's brother, having requested transfer to Nemesis the moment the project was announced. "The quantum drive is performing beyond specifications. At current velocity, we'll reach Coalition space in 6 hours. And our guests? The Coalition diplomatic vessel is maintaining position off our stern. They've sent 16 messages requesting communication." Helena allowed herself a small smile. "Let them wait. They've had 5 years to talk. Now it's our turn." Nemesis was humanity's masterpiece, but it wasn't just a weapon. The vessel represented every breakthrough humanity had carefully hidden from the Coalition. Quantum gravity manipulation that allowed its impossible size and speed. Dark energy reactors that produced more power than some stars. Matter conversion systems that could rebuild the ship's structure in real time. But its most impressive feature wasn't technological, it was psychological. Nemesis was designed to be a symbol, a message that humanity had transcended the Coalition's expectations. The vessel's outer hull was composed of billions of microscopic quantum mirrors, each capable of either absorbing or reflecting light with perfect efficiency. This allowed Nemesis to appear as either an absolute void in space or, when desired, to project images across its massive surface. "Coalition vessels approaching," Commander Chen reported. 3 Dreadnought-class warships, supported by a dozen cruisers. "Right on schedule," Helena nodded. "Begin Phase 2. Across Nemesis's surface, the quantum mirrors activated. The perfect black sphere transformed, its surface now displaying a real-time image of the space behind it, rendering the massive vessel nearly invisible. Only the slight gravitational lensing of distant stars revealed its presence. The Coalition fleet halted, their sensors struggling to track the suddenly ghost-like vessel. Then, slowly, images began to appear on Nemesis's surface, recordings from Coalition Station Prime 5 years ago. Security footage showing Dr. Sarah Chen's last moments. Evidence of the sabotage. The Mrektai agents' movements. Everything humanity had discovered during 5 years of patient investigation, displayed on a canvas larger than a world. "Coalition Station Prime is hailing us," Commander Chen reported. "On screen," Helena ordered. "And activate the primary arrays." Across Nemesis's surface, thousands of kilometer-long panels began to slide apart, revealing what lay beneath the quantum mirror skin. Not traditional weapons, but something far more terrifying, technology so advanced it violated what the Coalition thought possible. The station's administrator, a Vextali named Kurvan, appeared on the command sphere's main display. His species was normally known for their unshakable composure, but his facial tentacles were writhing with anxiety. "Unknown vessel," he began, "you have entered Coalition space without dash." "I am Admiral Helena Santos of the Earth vessel Nemesis," she interrupted. "And you will listen." The command sphere's AI highlighted subtle changes in the alien's posture, recognition, fear, understanding. Good. They remembered Earth after all. "5 years ago, you murdered one of our scientists," Helena continued. "You thought we were weak. Primitive. That we would accept your lies about an accident. That we would know our place." She gestured, and new images appeared on Nemesis's surface, recordings from Earth's history. The Great Wall of China. The pyramids. The first moon landing. The Mars colonies. And finally, Nemesis itself under construction. "You should have studied our history more carefully," Helena said. "Humans have a peculiar response to being underestimated. We don't get angry. We don't seek immediate revenge. We plan. We build. We transcend." The primary arrays were now fully deployed, revealing not weapons, but something that made the Coalition's scientists stare in disbelief, technology that shouldn't exist for another 1,000 years by their development models. "We could have built weapons," Helena continued. "We could have created a vessel designed solely for destruction. Instead, we built this, a reminder that you don't understand us at all." Commander Chen's console chimed. "Admiral, we're receiving thousands of transmission requests from across Coalition space. Every major species wants to talk." Helena smiled. This was exactly as planned. Nemesis wasn't just a show of force, it was humanity's way of announcing that the rules of the game had changed. The Coalition would soon learn that killing Dr. Chen hadn't cowed humanity, it had awakened something far more dangerous, our potential. "Send them all the same response," Helena ordered. "Tell them humanity is ready to talk. But this time, as equals." The game was just beginning, and humanity held all the cards. The galaxy trembles. The Galactic Assembly's emergency session was the largest in recorded history. Representatives from over 300 species crowded the ancient chamber on Neural Prime, their arguments and whispers creating a storm of sound that the chamber's acoustic dampeners struggled to contain. First speaker Ninelan, a member of the ancient archivists race, raised all 4 of their crystalline appendages for silence. The chamber's lights dimmed, and a hologram of Nemesis appeared in the center of the room, rotating slowly to show its true scale. "In all our records, spanning 20,000 years of galactic civilization," Ninelan began, their voice resonating through the chamber, "no species has ever achieved this level of technological advancement in such secrecy. The humans have not merely surprised us, they have rendered our entire understanding of technological progression obsolete." The Mrektai delegation shifted uncomfortably as data streams began flowing through the hologram, showing Nemesis's observed capabilities. The vessel's quantum mirror technology alone violated 3 supposedly immutable laws of physics. Its dark energy reactors produced more power than some civilizations used in a year. And its size. Its size should have made it an ungainly, impossible to maneuver beast. Instead, it moved with the precision of a fighter craft. "The humans have more than weapons," the Arzani representative noted, their bioluminescent patterns showing deep concern. "They have understanding. Knowledge we thought impossible for a species their age. The question is no longer what they can do, but what they will do." On board Nemesis, Admiral Santos watched the Assembly's proceedings through quantum-entangled feeds. Every major species in known space was there, their representatives ranging from energy beings to silicon-based life forms to things that barely registered as alive by human standards. All of them focused on one thing: humanity's impossible leap forward. "They're starting to understand," Commander Chen observed, "but not completely." Helena nodded. "They think Nemesis is the endpoint. They haven't realized it's just the beginning." Throughout Coalition space, the effects of Nemesis's arrival rippled through civilizations. The quantum communication networks were overwhelmed with traffic as species shared information, theories, and fears. Archaeological teams rushed to re-examine ancient human artifacts, looking for signs they might have missed. Military strategists ran simulation after simulation, trying to find ways to counter a vessel that seemed to ignore physical laws. But it was the scientists who were most affected. Every major research institution in the galaxy was poring over the visual data from Nemesis, trying to understand how humans had achieved what they thought impossible. The quantum mirrors alone had sparked 3 different scientific revolutions in the span of days. "Admiral," Commander Chen reported, "we're detecting significant power signatures from multiple Coalition worlds. They're attempting to replicate our technology." Helena smiled. "Right on schedule. Initiate Phase 3. Across Nemesis's vast surface, new images began to appear. Not recordings this time, but live feeds from Earth and its colonies. Children playing in parks under domed cities on Mars. Scientists working in floating laboratories above Venus. Artists creating zero-gravity sculptures in the rings of Saturn. "This is humanity," Helena's voice broadcast across all frequencies, reaching every corner of Coalition space. "We are not your enemy. We are not your superiors. We are simply what happens when you underestimate a species' potential." The images shifted, showing Earth's history, not the technological achievements this time, but the cultural ones. Art. Music. Literature. Philosophy. The things that made humans human. "You killed one of us," Helena continued, "thinking it would keep us in our place. Instead, it showed us exactly what we're capable of. Nemesis isn't a weapon, it's a reminder. A reminder that any species can transcend their limitations if they're pushed hard enough." In the Galactic Assembly, silence fell as the implications became clear. Humanity hadn't just built an impossible ship, they had done it while maintaining a facade of technological inferiority. Which meant, how much else are they hiding? The question came from the Vextali representative, their usual confidence shattered. The answer came in the form of new data streams flowing through the Assembly's holographic displays. Patents. Research papers. Technological breakthroughs. All dated years before Nemesis's reveal, all showing advancements far beyond what humanity had shared with the Coalition. "We tried to be good galactic citizens," Helena's voice continued. "We shared what we thought you were ready for. We played by your rules. But when you killed Dr. Chen, you taught us something important: the rules need to change." Commander Chen's console lit up with new alerts. "Admiral, we're detecting quantum fluctuations from the Coalition's primary shipyards. They're powering down their military production facilities." Helena nodded. The Coalition wasn't stupid, they understood that if humanity could build one Nemesis, they could build more. And if this was what humans built in response to a single death. "The galaxy is changing," Helena broadcast. "The question isn't whether you'll adapt, but how. We're willing to share everything, all our advancements, all our breakthroughs. But first, there must be justice." The Galactic Assembly erupted into chaos as representatives realized the choice before them: adapt to a galaxy where humanity was a major power, or face obsolescence. The age of underestimating humans was over. And somewhere, in the vast computer cores of Nemesis, a hologram of Sarah Chen smiled. Her death had indeed changed the galaxy, just not in the way her killers had intended. Justice and mercy. The Coalition Council chamber had never felt smaller than when Admiral Helena Santos walked its ancient halls. She moved with measured steps, her formal Earth Fleet uniform a stark contrast to the ornate robes of the alien counselors. Behind her, Nemesis hung in orbit, its massive form visible even in daylight through the chamber's transparent ceiling. "You stand accused," Helena's voice carried through the chamber, "of sanctioning the murder of Dr. Sarah Chen. The evidence has been presented. The truth is known. What is your response?" The Mrektai High Commissioner, Zarkax, rose from his seat. His scales, once bright with pride, had dulled to a pale gray. We acted as we always have. When a species rises too quickly. You acted out of fear, Helena interrupted. But that's not why we're here. We're here because you thought you could kill one of us without consequences. The chamber's quantum recorders captured every word, broadcasting the proceedings across the galaxy. Humanity had insisted on complete transparency, no closed sessions, no diplomatic shadows. Commander Chen's voice came through Helena's neural link. "Admiral, the quantum scans are complete. We've confirmed the location of every Mrektai agent involved in Dr. Chen's death." Helena acknowledged with a subtle gesture. This was the moment everything had built toward. The galaxy watched, expecting humanity's revenge. The Mrektai themselves had already evacuated their core worlds, expecting planet-killing retaliation. "In human history," Helena began, her voice softening, "we've learned hard lessons about justice and vengeance. About the price of escalation. About the difference between punishment and change." She gestured, and holographic displays appeared throughout the chamber, showing not weapons or threats, but something else entirely: schools, hospitals, research centers. All built by humans, all serving multiple species. Dr. Chen believed in sharing knowledge, Helena continued. She believed that different species working together could achieve more than any single civilization working alone. Her last project, the one she was working on when you killed her, was a unified theory of xenobiology that could revolutionize medicine for all species. The council chamber grew absolutely still as Helena reached into her uniform and withdrew a small data crystal. This is her complete research. Everything she discovered, including the breakthroughs she made just before her death. Breakthroughs that could save billions of lives across the galaxy. She placed the crystal on the central podium. "This is our justice. Not destruction. Not revenge. But the very thing you tried to prevent, shared knowledge that will change everything." Commander Chen's voice came through again. Nemesis's sensors detect increased neural activity in all council members. "They're starting to understand." Helena nodded slightly. "The agents responsible for Dr. Chen's death will be handed over to a neutral court. They will stand trial, and they will face consequences for their actions. But the Mrektai civilization as a whole? Your punishment is to live in the galaxy Dr. Chen dreamed of building." With another gesture, she activated the data crystal. The chamber filled with holographic data, cure for diseases that had plagued spacefaring races for millennia, solutions to genetic degradation that threatened several elder species, and most importantly, a framework for understanding how different forms of life could work together at the cellular level. Nemesis was never about destruction, Helena revealed. It's a mobile research station, the largest ever built. Those arrays you thought were weapons. They're medical fabricators, capable of producing treatments for any species. The power systems you feared? They're designed to power planetary-scale healing technologies. The council erupted in a chaos of voices, but Helena raised her hand for silence. "But there's one condition. From this day forward, all medical and scientific breakthroughs derived from Dr. Chen's work must be shared. No more hoarding knowledge. No more using technology as a weapon to keep other species in their place." Through her neural link, Helena could see the quantum networks lighting up across the galaxy as the implications became clear. Humanity hadn't just built a superweapon, they'd created a way to force cooperation and advancement on a galactic scale. "You killed Dr. Chen because you feared what humanity might become," Helena concluded. "Instead, you helped create exactly what she was working toward, a galaxy where species must work together to advance." The Mrektai High Commissioner slowly stood again, his scales now showing patterns of deep shame and understanding. And if we refuse these terms? Helena's expression remained neutral. Then you'll have to live with the knowledge that your fear and pride denied your people access to medical technologies that could save millions of lives. Nemesis isn't here to destroy you. It's here to offer you a choice, evolve or stagnate. Above, visible through the transparent ceiling, Nemesis's surface began to shift, the quantum mirrors deactivating to reveal its true purpose, not a weapon of war, but a monument to human ingenuity and hope. A reminder that humanity's greatest strength wasn't our ability to destroy, but our capacity to transform tragedy into progress. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what Sarah Chen would have wanted. New Dawn. 5 years after Nemesis's revelation, the galaxy had changed in ways no species could have predicted. The massive vessel now orbited a newly constructed station at the heart of Coalition space, its quantum mirror surface displaying a constant stream of medical and scientific breakthroughs from across the galaxy. Dr. Kira Chen, Sarah's younger sister, stood in Nemesis's primary medical bay, watching as alien doctors from a dozen species worked together, applying her sister's research to save lives. The bay was larger than most hospitals, capable of treating thousands of patients simultaneously. Your sister would be proud, Admiral Santos, now serving as Earth's representative to the new Galactic Scientific Council, said as she joined Kira at the observation window. Her work has saved more lives than we can count. Below them, a Mrektai medical team worked alongside human doctors, treating a rare genetic condition that had plagued their species for generations. The cure had been developed through collaboration between 3 different species, using Sarah's unified theory as its foundation. The irony isn't lost on them, Kira observed, watching the Mrektai doctors. Their attempt to keep us down led to this. The quantum displays lining the walls showed similar scenes playing out across the galaxy. The sharing of medical knowledge had sparked a renaissance of cooperation. Species that had once hoarded their secrets now found that collaboration yielded faster progress than isolation. Admiral, Commander Chen's voice came through the station's comm system, the archivists have completed their analysis of the 5-year impact report. Helena nodded. Put it through. The numbers that appeared were staggering. Over 3 million previously incurable conditions now had treatments. Infant mortality rates across all species had dropped by an average of 78%. Life expectancy for most spacefaring races had increased by decades. And perhaps most significantly, interspecies scientific collaboration had increased by over 900%. But that's not the most interesting change, Kira said, pulling up another set of data. Look at the cultural impact metrics. The statistics told a story beyond medicine. Art collaborations between species had exploded. Mixed species communities were forming on thousands of worlds. The very concept of species superiority was fading as civilizations realized that diversity led to strength. We've received another request from the Mrektai government, Commander Chen reported. They want to expand the medical research facilities in their core systems. Helena smiled. Approved. And make sure they know the new facilities will be open to all species, as usual. The Mrektai had learned their lesson perhaps better than anyone. Their attempt to maintain superiority through violence had instead taught them, and the galaxy, the value of cooperation. Their civilization, once focused on maintaining power through fear, had transformed into one of the strongest advocates for interspecies collaboration. There's something else, Kira said, bringing up a new holographic display. The education initiative is showing incredible results. The display showed classrooms across the galaxy where young beings of all species learn together, studying not just science and medicine, but each other's cultures and perspectives. The next generation was growing up in a galaxy where cooperation was the norm, not the exception. High above, Nemesis continued its eternal orbit, its surface now displaying not just scientific data, but art, music, and cultural exchanges from across the galaxy. The vessel that had been built as a potential weapon had become something far more powerful, a symbol of transformation. In the station's central memorial hall, a hologram of Sarah Chen still smiled, but now she was surrounded by images of the millions her work had saved. Below her image, the inscription had been updated: "Remember why we build, to transform fear into hope, division into unity, and death into life." "I think," Helena said, watching a group of young aliens and humans studying together in one of the station's educational pods, "this is the real power of humanity. Not that we can build something like Nemesis, but that we can turn tragedy into transformation." Kira nodded, touching the pendant she wore, a quantum crystal containing her sister's complete research database. "Sarah used to say that the greatest discoveries come from bringing different perspectives together. I don't think even she imagined it would happen quite like this." As the stars wheeled overhead, Nemesis cast its light across the galaxy, not as a warning, but as a beacon. Humanity had shown the galaxy a different path, one where advancement came not through dominance, but through cooperation. Where the response to violence wasn't revenge, but revolution. The galaxy had killed a human child, expecting to put humanity in its place. Instead, they had helped humanity show everyone their true place, not above or below, but alongside each other, reaching for the stars together. And somewhere, in the quantum fields that bound the universe together, Sarah Chen's dream of a unified galaxy lived on, stronger than ever.